One day, this woman, I think when we were already in season 2 was already on air, she stopped me and she just broke down. And she said, my husband is exactly like yours. Oh. And I just cried. I was like, first of all, I feel so sorry for her because she thinks this is real. It's not.
What's up, guys, and welcome to the Asin Show. My name is Cheptoek Boyo, and today we have an amazing actor. Her name is Helen Keli, and I know most of you just know her as Patricia Mackenzie on Selina, but you really do not know her. So she's here to tell us everything about her life. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Mm-hmm.
Asante. It's nice to be here.
Let's start with your name. Helen Keli.
Yes.
Keli is from which part of this country?
Ukambani.
Ah!
Yes.
I saw nilikuwa nimekuweka kule coast.
No. Ukambani, born and bred.
Yeah. Ebu, give us your childhood. Where did you go to primary school? Which town did you grow up in?
So I was born and raised in Nairobi. I went to, it's many years ago,
It's okay. We have time.
I went to Langata Junior Kindergarten, since you want us to start at the beginning.
Yes.
I went to Karen Primary School. I went to Machakos Girls High School. Let's stop there. And let's talk a little bit about that. I think I was born in a family of creatives. Which is not to say that we are all actors or we're all musicians or we're all artists in the conventional sense. But I think I get my creativity from my father. He was one of the veterans of KBC, or what is now KBC. I think at the time it was called Voice of Kenya.
Yes.
And even when I look at his books, he died when I was 7 or 8.
His name?
David Keli.
Okay.
Even when I look at the books that he read, and I mean, wow. It's a pity that he didn't live long enough for us to have an intellectual type of relationship with his creatives. When I was 8. When I was 7 or 8. Oof, it's a bit of a blur. Obviously, that happens to somebody at that age. It's obviously life-changing, life-altering. Things are not the same. If you look at women my age who grew up with their fathers, and women like us who lost their fathers when we were young, we are different. We are significantly different in the ways that we have relationships, in the ways that we fight for ourselves.
Definitely.
I always tell people, I have fought tooth and nail for everything I have. Nobody has ever given me. I have never been given something on a silver platter. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I worked hard, and sometimes I look back and I'm just like, what the hell was that? You know.
Which is good. It shows you're a hard worker. But sometimes when you fight so much, it wears you down.
It wears you down. And you know, sometimes I sit alone and I just say, why does everything have to be so hard? Just give me one thing, one easy thing, you know? But then again, you know, if that happens, then you wouldn't cherish the things that you have.
Yeah.
And the relationships that you have and how you got to where you are. So I guess, you know.
So we diverted. Now we're back to Machakos Girls.
Machakos Girls.
Was that where you started acting?
No, I started acting in primary school. I started acting in primary school. I was always that little person who, when I was very small, I was always very small. I don't know what happened.
You're talking like you're this huge person, but
in comparison to where I was, let's say 15 years ago. Wow.
I was like a tall, skinny bones.
Yeah, so was I. Well, I wasn't tall. I've never been tall. But I was always like, in my adult life, I always tell people, I have actually been, in my adult life, working, hustling, whatever. I have been 48 kilos. Not because I'm malnourished or I'm starving or, I have an eating disorder. No, I was just really tiny.
Tiny. I was 48 in high school, and that was the last time I was 40.
Yeah. So wow, I don't know what happened. I'll tell you what. We digress again a little bit. When I got pregnant, at the end of my pregnancy, I was 87 kilos. By the time I had my daughter, obviously that was you know what happens.
Pregnancy weight.
Yeah. So. Maybe after that, things just never went back to what they were before.
They never go back to the same weight.
Yeah, but I do miss my skinny. I used to have a thigh gap.
I don't remember having one.
I had a thigh gap in my adult life. And then all my friends were so curvy, and I used to feel bad. I was like, oh my God, how can look at her? I mean, she looks so good in those jeans, and here I am. I just look like a hanger. Like clothes on.
But now thigh gap is on fashion.
I wouldn't want a thigh gap. Even now, I would maybe I could do with losing a few kilos, but I would never want a thigh gap.
Why? Why was it so bad?
I didn't like it in the beginning, and even now when I've gotten a little bigger and I want to lose more weight, I just don't think
you want to go to that small
size.
Extent.
No. I wouldn't want to do that. I think it's nice to have to be realistic in the way you look, not to look like you need a sandwich.
No. At some age in your teens and 20s, it's okay.
It's okay,
it's
right?
Natural.
Yes. Yeah. But also when you get older, it's nice to have a little bit of fat on you, just healthy amount.
Warmth.
Yeah. Warmth, and also you don't look ill.
Yes.
At my age, if I went back to being even 50 or 55 kilos, I would look ill.
Yeah, because guys will be asking, is she okay?
What's wrong with her? Yeah.
Is there an underlying condition?
Yeah. So I've always acted. I've always been that person who's singing in the shower, who's singing everywhere they went. At one point in my life, I think I even wanted to be a musician. But acting has always been in me.
Okay.
I used to imitate the people I saw on TV. I used to, aspire to be them when I was a girl. In high school.
Who, to be specific, did you want to be?
I wanted to be everyone. So the thing about being an actor is being innately an actor is I'm not aspiring to be you. Okay. Who I see on the screen. I'm aspiring to be on the screen in 600 different ways. Yeah. So if I can remember, we used to watch. I'm about to give away my age, but anyway, we used to watch Dynasty, and we used to watch Dynasty, which has just been remade.
Actually, both of them have been remade.
Yeah.
So no one knows which era we're talking about.
I used to watch Dallas, and I used to look at her name was Victoria Principal, and I was like, oh my God, I want to have eyes like hers, and I want to, be so as charming and suave and elegant as she was. So those are a few of the things that inspired me when I was growing up.
College, you didn't mention that.
It's funny. I studied fashion design. Yes, I did fashion design. I still meddle a little bit in fashion. It's for me, that's something that never really took off. Okay. I have all the knowledge in my head. And if you ask me to stitch you an outfit right now, I can do it.
Eesh.
I can, but I didn't go with it because I like the idea of designing.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of doing it as for my livelihood.
Doing it on the daily, 8 to 5.
Yeah.
You're there
I
in
don't
the
like
shop.
the idea of that. It's something I want to do without any pressure, without the need to finish and then, one of those deliver. And because then what I found out was, and I found this out in college, was I hate the rush. I like the creative process within the fashion design industry. I like to create. I like to go slowly, and I like to just, waste my time, or if you want to call it that.
I think you'll be good if you attach yourself to a fashion house and then you release your limited editions.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I have thought about that. I have thought about that. In one of my many travels, I did speak to a few European houses. But it is so cutthroat. It is so cutthroat. And then I realized I would just be back at the point at which I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
So that is something I do for myself. Like when I do have the time, I'll create. When I feel the desire to, I create. But I don't do it to make money as a way to make money.
To provide for yourself.
No.
Fashion school. Which school was this?
I went to Woodgrove. I think now it's closed. And it was owned by an Indian gentleman, an Indian group. It was an institute, a whole big place full of many other organizations. So it was not just the school. School was one of them. Yeah.
So how did you get into creative?
So
from fashion to stage
to wow,
to creative, or was it fashion? Was it fashion, stage, creative, or fashion, creative, stage?
It was fashion and stage kind of happened at the same time.
So let's go to stage.
Yeah. So because of just that thing that I have in me, and the fact that I said I'm from a family of creatives, my eldest brother was part of a band that played at the Phoenix Players, and Phoenix Players used to have musicals. So for those of you who don't know, and you are many, Phoenix Players was the only repertoire theatre in Africa for many years.
Yes.
When you say repertoire theatre, you mean theatre that is running all the time. There's always something showing.
Continuous.
Yes. And I suppose it started in, perhaps it was maybe little pre-colonial, but mostly post-colonial. So when they started out, it was obviously a very white theatre. And then obviously slowly that changed, which was very good. And eventually James Falkland turned it into a few white plays in a year, but mostly plays that are dominated
by blacks,
by Kenyan actors, which was really quite something. So Phoenix for me was, I met James Falkland in 1994, in June 1994. Maybe not June, maybe April. And James Falkland was the kind of man who, I suppose because of age and experience, he was the kind of man who saw through you without being condescending or patronizing, or, sometimes the older generation can just make you feel so small. Yeah,
they can reduce you to a certain...
But James understood us, all of us, in all our many ways that we were. And one time he said to me, the thing that I'll never forget, and this was one of the things that changed my life, was he said to me, "Helen, you live in a glass capsule."
Okay. Why did he say that?
I'll let you figure that one out for yourself. But the reason, I'll tell you what he meant.
Okay.
He meant that when you see me, I'm right there in front of you, but you can't get through to me. So in your eyes, you as the outsider, you don't think there's a barrier, but there is.
There is.
And he said to me, you will only become a good actor when you come out of that capsule.
Okay.
So in very many ways, and not just with acting, that changed my life. I still have a glass capsule every now and then, because I'm human. I'm not perfect. But for the most part, I have broken down.
Most of it.
Maybe not most. If I'm honest, maybe let's say half of it.
Half of it.
Maybe half of it, yeah. Yeah, so because of the people I met when I was in the theater, I gravitated very seriously into the advertising and marketing world. I did a lot of courses. I did a lot of, especially now later in life, I did a lot of online stuff. And it just felt the natural way to go.
Yeah.
But my heart has always been
acting.
And if I'm even push it a little bit further, to be more honest, my heart has always been on the stage. But
I would have thought otherwise.
Really?
Yeah, because the way you're admiring actresses when you're watching television,
yes,
and now you're big on TV, I will automatically assume you just wanted to be on screen.
There's a huge difference, Boyo, being in front of the camera and being in front of a live audience. That is chalk and cheese. You cannot liken the two. In the smallest ways that you feed off the energy of the audience.
Yeah.
Whereas in front of the camera, you feed off the energy of your fellow actor if you have one at the precise moment that you're shooting. But the stage is a different animal. So that is what made me fall in love completely with acting. I cannot go back. It is not something that, sometimes they say love is an obligation. Mm-hmm. I cannot not love acting. Mm-hmm. It is in my bones, in my blood. And the minute I set foot in that theater,
you come alive.
I can't go back.
So how is that transition now to creative?
So when you say creative, what do you mean?
To being a creative to start working for Scanner and other agencies.
So first of all, you need to pay your bills. This is something that they don't tell you when they tell you that when you finish Form 4, you're going to enjoy your life. They don't tell you.
Adulting is very hard.
They don't teach you. There's a lot that we don't learn growing up, especially in African homes. Yes. There's a lot of things that we don't teach our children, and I hope now it's changing. People don't teach their children how to make decisions about their careers. You were told, I want you to be this. The minute I said I wanted to be, okay, fine, I'll be a fashion designer. You want me to go to college? I'll be fashion. My mom was like, so we were always, all our parents told us, no, you go to university, you'll get a degree.
Get your papers and
you'll do this and you'll do that and you'll become a lawyer or a doctor, an engineer, and and then your parents are so proud of you. Like I used to look at my my former schoolmates and my friends and people who've got all these, educational accolades, and their parents are so proud. And we all ended up doing this thing that is in our blood, and we can't get out of it.
You can't betray yourself.
No. And that's another thing. Thanks for saying that. We don't teach our kids to be true to themselves. We want them to fulfill our dreams.
Mm-hmm. The dreams that you never achieved.
What we did not achieve for ourselves, we want them to fulfill our dreams. And I think that is some of the things we can learn from our parents' generation. Yeah. So that we don't do the same things with our children. It's positive and negative, but there's a story I've heard or I read somewhere of how the younger generation will just say, look, I don't like this job, I'm done. And they'll quit. But
it's
our
true.
parents stayed in the job, and they stayed and they stayed and they stayed and they stayed and
they used to complain, but they still went back.
And some of them never even got to the point of complaining. They would just do and do and do and do, and you probably just die of a broken heart when you go and you retire. You're just like meh, you've done nothing with your life.
Then you're bitter at the same time.
Exactly. So I think those are some of the things that we can learn. So fashion design didn't really work out for me. The people I met at the theater were some really good Kenyan creatives. And I was listening to them and talking to them, and, we formed friendships, lifetime friendships. And I got sucked into it because we would talk, and, they would always say, come on, this is something you can do with your eyes closed. The way you talk, you'd be really good at it. So I gave it a shot. And I was in advertising for longer than I care to admit, because I just felt like I wasn't being true to myself. I felt that advertising changed on me. Okay. What it was when I started, the free-thinking enterprise, a place where you could actually fulfill your creative mind would be fulfilled. It turned out to be a little different. I don't want to go into that because I piss a few people off. So I'm not going to do it. And also because it's a very personal opinion.
Okay.
So it changed, and it became something that I didn't really want to be a part of. And I started doing it because I had to pay my bills. Okay. And I did it for many years. I had made the decision, but after about 2016, 2017, I was just like, I'm done. So I'll do it now. I'll do a lot of things that are leaning towards that, but the shape and form in which they take are not the shape and form of an advertising agency.
Okay.
Just because I feel that I would like to think beyond what an advertising agency would allow me to do, which is not to say, by the way, that an advertising agency thinks wrongly. I've done that. Okay. Now I'm doing a different thing. So being creative, and this is what I always say to people. So those people who know me or have listened to me speak before, they'll know that I always say art is fluid. But the minute you put it in a box, you lose.
Yes.
You lose. And I feel that that's what happened to the advertising world, industry globally. They put it in a box. So yes, there's still good advertising that people are doing, but for the most part,
it's structured.
It's been a long, let me just say, it's been a long time since I saw a really good piece of communication, which tells you about the box.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did you switch back to stage? Now you decided to.
So there is no stage that I want to be on right now. I don't know if you'd say I'm a bit hard to please, or I think coming from James Falkland's mentorship, I can only go up from there. Yeah. And I haven't found the up. Also, TV was a new challenge for me. Yes, I did a few things before I was on Selina. What I like about TV, and maybe this is not so good to say, is in many ways, it's harder than being on stage. And in many ways, it's easier than being on stage. So basically, the challenges are new. I did so many plays at Phoenix that aside from getting the character, being on stage became easy, and I always believe in the challenge.
Okay.
So being on, I was in Changes, which I don't know if you would know about that, which was an Mnet production. I was
in it.
You were in Changes?
But the last season.
I think so was I.
You are?
I can't remember what the last season was, but yeah, anyway.
We were, Piera McKenna was our boss. We were escort ladies.
You were in, I saw you. When I met you that day when we met, I thought, where have I seen this lady before? Now I know.
Just the skinnier version of me.
Yeah, Everyone in Changes was a skinnier
Skinny
version of themselves. Yeah. So now I remembered. I did see you. You were at Hush. It was called Hush.
Yes.
It was called Hush. See, I remember. So I did Changes. Then I did a Zuku production called State House. And then I did Selina.
Aye. 3 strong productions.
I am very grateful. I do not take it for granted. I loved the 2 last characters. My character in Changes was interesting lady, but because the show was cancelled, I didn't really get to pursue her further. I have loved my roles in State House and on Selina. I would say more so Selina because I got to know her for a longer period. I would have liked to get to know the lady I played on State House because that was interesting. It was they were both interesting. So I can't say that I can't choose between TV and stage. As stage was obviously my first love. It's the first place I connected truly with acting.
Yeah.
So it always have a special place for me. Yeah.
Let's talk about Selina. You play Patricia Mackenzie, the famous.
I wouldn't call her infamous, no.
Patricia Mackenzie, who's the mom to Nelson.
Right.
And it's a serious role. Are you serious in real life?
Everyone is serious and everyone is not so serious.
No, like serious in terms of being uptight.
Would anyone ever admit to being uptight?
No.
I'm not uptight. I don't think I'm uptight. I think I am, because obviously I've gotten a little older, I'm a little set in my ways. And I like this and that like that. You know, it happens with age, which is not to say I'm older. I just have more experience than most. So I wouldn't call myself uptight. I am a fun-loving person. But when the situation calls for me to be serious and then I am serious. But if you find me out there and we're having a good old time, we'll have a good old time. So I think human beings have layers, and Patricia had layers. Unfortunately, you meet her at the last part of her life. If you met her earlier in her life, perhaps you would have seen a different part of her.
Yeah.
Right now, she's overrun with all these issues that she had, and she's angry. She's a little bitter. She looks back on her life, and her mother had such a huge role to play in the reason she is the way she is. Her husband, the first husband she chose, had a huge role to play in the kind of woman she became. So I wouldn't actually call her uptight. I would just call her a victim of her own circumstances. Life made her, as life does to many of us, turned her into the person that she became.
What did you enjoy the most about playing Patricia?
I liked that. So in the beginning, when we started in 2017, Patricia was angry. She was so angry. And actually, I would go home and then I would shout at everybody.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You didn't leave Patricia on set.
I didn't leave her where she was supposed to be left. So eventually I started getting home and sitting in the car for 20 minutes and just throwing her in the bin. And then tomorrow waking up and having to go through the whole process again. Until then, I learned how to just do it in an instant, in a more efficient way. I loved play. She was very angry in the beginning, so that was a challenge for me, and that's why I liked it. I know that doesn't sound, I liked
contradicting.
I liked that it was. I liked the challenge. I didn't like the emotions it brought up, but I think, as an actor, to be real, the emotions have to be real.
Yeah.
If I pretend I'm crying, then you're gonna know I'm pretending to cry.
Yeah. You're like, I know.
Yeah. So, And then the Kiswahili. Oh my God. The Kiswahili was
I was
tough.
just about to ask you that.
Wow. I mean, now I'm still not good, like 100% perfect, but the Kiswahili was tough.
And it's a Swahili telenovela, so
Yes.
everything is in Swahili.
Yes. It was tough primarily because you don't think in Kiswahili.
No.
You think in English.
And that's the mistake our teachers made. We are
think
taught in Swahili.
English. Yeah.
But most of the other projects, you other subjects rather, you're taught in English. So you're always thinking in English.
Think in English. So when you're trying to internalize what you see on the paper, wow.
It's like translating fast.
Yeah. And so that you understand it, so that you can, you have to believe it for you to project it.
Yeah.
So that was difficult. That, in fact, if there was anything that was difficult, forget Patricia's anger, it was the Kiswahili, because you had to sound like it's natural. Yes. We're having a conversation.
A Kenyan Swahili.
The same way you and I are speaking right now.
Yeah.
So that was tough. One of the things I really loved about playing Patricia Mackenzie was Leshan. Leshan, who in the end is a very good friend. Leshan showed you a different side of Patricia that we had not seen. So I really enjoyed playing that, especially the beginning. In the beginning, when Patricia and Leshan were dating, and when they were in love, their love was nice and fresh. I liked that just because it showed a completely different Patricia.
From angry to this lovey-dovey Patricia.
Yes. So it gave her the chance to be seen as a human being. Because otherwise, before that, I think she was just a bit much. Yeah. In the angry department, I think she was just a bit much. And then in life, things don't always go wrong. It was nice to see something good happening to her. So I enjoyed Luke. But Luke fell on the angry side. So I enjoyed Leshan because he just brought out a different side. Yeah, different Patricia.
How was it working with Ruben Odanga? I've had awesome reviews from actors and cast members. How was it for you?
So when I met Ruben, Ruben had watched me in a play, and I gave my blood and sweat and tears for that play. Sometime 100 years ago. So when he recognized me from that play, I was like, oh my God, first of all, this guy is going to expect the world, and I don't know if I have the world to give anymore. So I was a little pensive. And one thing that he did was that I didn't show what, that emotion. I think he might watch this and realize what was happening. But I realized when I listened to him, the many ways that he brought me back how do I explain this? He knew me from the stage, right? So he put me back on the stage, and then he pulled me out and brought me
to the screen,
to the front of the camera.
Wow.
So that's a very intimate, the relationship between a director and an actor is a very intimate one.
Yeah. Because
the director has to bring you to the point of the realness that he wants to see. So I think Ruben is a really good director. I think for the work that he did with me, I am definitely a better actor, maybe even a better person. I think the world is his oyster. I think he's a really good director.
He's thinking he's just gonna blow up even more.
Yeah, he's got way of thinking that is new for me. I mean, a director is a director. Every director is different. Yeah. But for me, Ruben was new because he understood. A lot of people don't understand the actor. So he understood this is Boyo and this is how I deal with Boyo. And for me to get the best out of Boyo, this is what I need to give her. All right? I'm not saying other directors don't do that. I'm just saying Ruben did it with me very well. And I'll be forever grateful for that. He did a very good job with Selina, with all of us. He brought us out of our shells because when we went there, none of us were speaking Swahili except, I think, 5 people maybe, or 4 people. And even for those who spoke Swahili, he still took them to the next level. And that's what a good director does. Yeah. He just made everything so real. So when it's real for us, it's real for you, the viewer. Yeah.
Did you guys realize the success of the show from the onset?
No.
What were you guys thinking?
When we started shooting July 17th, 2017. That was the first day of shoot. For me, I was like, okay, let me do this. I really want to do this. And I'm a very prayerful person. So I prayed and I told God, are you serious? You want me to continue this advertising gig? Because it's killing me, man.
It was time for you to leave.
It was really time for me to not be there. I think a creative has at times, what is it called? Shelf life.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you need to just take a step back and do something else so that you can reduce that creativity.
Yeah.
So no, when we finished shooting season 1 in December 2017, which was 60 episodes, we're like, okay, what do we do now?
Because there was no.
It hadn't gone on air. It went on air in January 2018. Wow. Every time someone asks me, what is your experience shooting Selina? I tell them it has changed my life. Being on that show was life-altering for every one of us. And anyone who tells you any different is a liar. It changed our lives in many ways. For me, I was just Helen, and then suddenly I was this woman who was larger than life, and people stop me on the street and ask me for money and tell me their problems, and it was like a lot. It was a lot. I remember one time, Patricia in season 1 was a drunk. She had an alcohol problem because of all the things she was going through, and she turned to alcohol. And one day, this woman, I think when we were already in season 2 was already on air, she stopped me and she just broke down. She just broke down and she said, my husband is exactly like yours. Oh. And I just cried. I was like, first of all, I feel so sorry for her because she thinks this is real. It's not. Which then,
but she's aside, relating to you because it's happening to her just in a male version. She was
in an alcohol issue, and she, was telling me about her kids, and she'd been drinking. And first of all, I struggled, because I'm not a counselor. I don't know how to deal with this.
Definitely, yeah.
I struggled because I wanted, first of all, to tell her it's not real. The thing that you see, it's not real. Then I couldn't tell her because I
she was already unloaded on you.
Yeah, and she thought she had a we are holding hands now. You're having your problem, I'm having my problem, So I gave her direction, and I to a counselor, and I said, you need to speak to a professional. You can't hold on to this for this amount of time and expect your kids to be healthy, emotionally and mentally healthy and secure. So when I talk about a life-altering experience, it was also when you met people who, there's a time we had a meet and greet at Prestige Plaza, and this lady was talking, she was like, Regan, and Regan at the time was played by Kone, who passed away.
Kone was also dope because he was on Changes too.
Yeah, he was amazing. And she broke down and she was like, "You Kone, you're terrible. You're not Kone, Regan. You're so bad. You no." And she started crying. And for us, you're like, okay, just chill. But when you look at it from the audience's perspective, it was life altering for them.
Yeah, they related to that character.
They related to us. They gave us the will to continue. I don't even know what I can call that, because it was just something short of, it was just amazing. It was something that I cannot fully describe. I cannot tell you in one sentence how Selina changed my life. It changed my life completely.
That's nice.
Not in one sentence, in 50,000 ways that I can't describe.
And since it's positive, that's very nice.
Yeah. From
creative issues to now.
Yeah. So it was a good creative outlet for me. Yeah. And I'll be eternally grateful for having the opportunity to be on Selina.
You basically had 3 sons.
Yeah.
In one on Selina. So there was Kone. Sadly, he passed away.
Yes.
Replaced by Lenana Kariba.
Yes.
Lenana moved on. Replaced now by Brian Ogola. How was it working with all these 3 sons in one character?
Amazing. Awesome.
Which one was your favorite son?
Wow, you can't ask me that.
I have to ask that.
You can't ask me that. I like all of them for different reasons. Kone was my friend. We were on Changes together. We met when we were doing Changes. He was an amazing friend. Sometimes he used to kick me up the backside. I used to kick him up the backside, just like, come on, what are you doing? Yeah. So he had full meddling rights in my life. I had full meddling rights in his. He was a very good friend. There can never be Lenana and Brian, please don't kill me, but there can never be another Regan like Kone. Okay. Because there was just something that Kone brought, as far as I was concerned. And because we started out together, there's also something to be said about that. There was a relationship that Helen and Kone had. And there was a relationship that Patricia had with Regan, who was played by Kone. Every actor brought something else, something new to the character. When Lenana came on board, Regan, if you see how the character was written, changed a little bit. So the relationship between Patricia and that Regan was slightly different. I did try to maintain the same thing because of all the things that Regan had done to Patricia and all the things that Patricia had done to Regan. So we tried to maintain the relationship, but the actor also brings something else to the table.
Yeah.
So there was that. Brian, wow. Brian is a force to be reckoned with. I think he's an amazing actor. They all are. Kone, Lenana, and Brian. I say this about Brian because he is the one Regan who Patricia got emotional with. There was a lot of emotion between the Brian Regan and Patricia, and I really enjoyed working with Brian. I must say that. I think he's an amazing actor. I like the way he thinks. Just even forget the character, the 2 characters relating to one another. I enjoy listening to Brian talk because his opinions are so different from mine. So we have a good banter, and that translates to what you see on the screen. So I really did enjoy working with Brian. I enjoyed working with all 3 of them. But the Brian Regan had the most emotion because of the way the role was written at that time.
Yeah, because I'm thinking they're getting different evolution of Patricia.
Yes.
Kone got the angry.
Yes,
mother,
exactly.
And then this one got some
Lenana found me a bit of Leshan was still happening there. And then Brian came when things might have been about to start falling apart or had already started falling apart. So it's difficult for me to say which one I like the best. But I say Brian was a good one because of the emotional aspect. Yeah.
Will you ever do another Swahili telenovela?
I can't say no. I can't say I will never do this or I can never do that. I think as an artist and as an actor,
why not?
You can't say I will never. You can't do that because we said art is fluid, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want me to act as a 50-year-old prostitute, I should be able to master it up.
Yeah.
I should be able to internalize it enough to make you, the viewer, believe that I am a 50-year-old prostitute. If you want me to act as a 35-year-old male barber, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't put yourself in a box. When you put yourself as an artist, any kind of art, the minute you box yourself, you've lost. Yeah. So, will I do another Swahili telenovela? Is only time that can tell.
Time will tell.
But I would not say no. I can't say I will not do it because who knows?
You never know.
If you asked me 7 years ago, would you act in a Swahili show? I would have been like,
Not sure.
But here we are.
Yeah.
7 years later. 5 years of Selina.
I saw online on your bio, I hope it's the right Facebook page I went to, and it says you're a gender-based violence champion.
Yes.
For change.
I'm very passionate about GBV. I may not have had. So there are things that I do.
Okay.
I'll not tell you about them because I don't believe in broadcasting charity. Then because it stops being charity. There are people I work with. Okay. There are projects that I participate in. We can talk about that after the interview. I don't want to say, I went to Boyo and I brought for her unga because she was starving. No.
Yeah.
Touch wood. You know, that's not what I do. But yes, I am very.
Why this cause?
Because I see so many things and I hear so many things. I've seen both men and women. When I was at the theater, all those hundreds of years ago, I met this man who used to come. I think he used to volunteer to do backstage stuff. And every time we were going out, to Carnival or to wherever, he would never come with us. He would never sit with us at the restaurant. He would finish his work and go straight home. And after about a year of being at the theater, maybe 1996, 2 years, I realized his wife used to beat him. I found out.
Wow.
And beat him like beat.
Like war.
Like beat. Like somebody lying on the ground in the fetal position, unable to move. Beat.
Oh, that's sad.
So it doesn't happen only to women.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen only to grown-ups. It happens in places where you find a child is being beaten like a thug. There are things that I've seen and I've had that make it impossible for me to ignore.
Yeah.
So yes, I do participate in several things, and I will never broadcast them because I don't believe that's what. When you're doing something, do it. Don't do it so that you can tell people,
be seen. You
see what a nice person I am. Yeah. So yes, I am very passionate about that.
I also saw online beautiful pictures of you skydiving. Where did
See,
it
I'm a
happen?
fun person.
Yes.
I should have said that. I'm a fun person.
I would say you're a daredevil or something.
I am a bit of a daredevil. I've done things that would make your skin crawl.
Do tell.
Yeah, that was my first skydiving experience.
Is it in Kenya? Or
yes, that was in Kenya. Wow, that was good. Like, there's no feeling. You will never feel anything like that. You do it the first time. Like, I always tell the people who I convinced to go do it, I always say, I'm jealous because you get to feel that thing for the first time. I've already felt it. I can't feel it again.
Yeah.
Wow. Bungee jumping, skydiving, all there's this thing. Oh my God. I'll tell you when we finish this interview. I will tell you.
I've done bungee jumping in SA though.
Yes.
And I want to do skydiving in Dubai.
Yes, you must.
Which I heard is the I'm going to do it, actually. I'm going to do it.
It is, first of all, the views are stupid. They are just insane.
So you've done both Kenya and Dubai?
Yes, and obviously the Dubai one is better.
Of course. and I know they're taking good pictures and videos, so I want that included.
Yeah.
This.
I think, look, you only live once, right? Within reason, enjoy your life.
Yes.
Enjoy your life. Our lives are so difficult. If you're an honest human being, you're not, I don't know, doing the things that people do to make stupid amounts of money that are not entirely legal. If you're an honest human being, life is tough. So when you have the chance,
enjoy it.
Eat good food. I love food. I love food. I can eat like an elephant. I love food. I love fun. I love traveling. I love reading. I love talking to people. I love diversity. So if you have a chance, please go to Dubai and jump off an aeroplane.
I'm going to do it, actually. I've been planning it. It's
please
do it.
Please do it. Yeah. You won't regret it. Obviously. I mean, you won't. Either way, you won't regret it. If the thing breaks and you fall down, you won't have time to regret it.
Yeah.
You won't have time to regret. So enjoy it.
What's on your bucket list that you still want to do that you've not done?
Wow. I haven't thought about that in a long time. That's sad. That's a very sad thing to say. Yeah. It means I need to rejig and refocus. I want to go to Disneyland because I am a child at heart. Those people who know me well, please underline well, know I like fun. I like fun things. I really want to go to Disneyland, and I want to go on all those crazy rides where you hear people screaming their hearts out. Yeah, that's what I want to do. So on my bucket list. I want to go to India. I think I
heard it's life-changing once you go there.
Yeah, I want to go to India very, very much. So many people have so many things to say about it, but I believe I enjoy history and culture. So places like India, Greece, Ethiopia, I feel very drawn to them. Rome, I've been to Rome, so that's
Egypt.
Yeah, Egypt. So there are places that I want to go, but that's on the travel side. I don't know if there's anything daring that I think of that I haven't done.
Truly a daredevil.
I haven't driven a race car, actually. I haven't driven, so maybe that can be on my, like a true race car.
Formula 1 style.
Yeah, I don't know if I can even ever have a chance, but maybe that's one thing I can say.
Let's talk about your private life, which I know you might shut me down very fast. Do you have a better half in your life?
Well, Boyo, I am very whole and complete.
Okay.
I do not need. I'm not incomplete, so I don't need a better half. But I know that question you're asking me to answer. I like my life private. Yeah. For many reasons, but mostly because I like to. There are certain things in your life that are yours, and you just want to enjoy them as you. Yeah. So let's not answer that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We shall move on.
I do have a daughter who is 14, and she is the love of my life.
Oh, wow.
There is no one who can be maybe God, but there's no one who comes before her, and everyone else comes after. And she's a true demonstration of I must have done something right in my life.
Oh, wow.
To be blessed with a human being such as that one.
I have an 11-year-old, and now it's challenging because I'm no longer a cool mama, and I'm no longer in that circle.
No, you'll only be
and
cool
she doesn't
when
want
she's
me.
after 25 or he's 25.
So now I'm just asking you. Yours is now a teen, a proper teen.
Yeah.
How is motherhood?
Weh.
How are you
Weh.
doing it?
May I see people here saying character development?
I think kids give you the best character development.
I always say to people, parenting is not the education of a child, it's the education of the parent.
Yeah.
Because you are learning on your feet. There is no manual, there is no one to tell you do this, because there's no set rules as to how it works. Every child is different, as same way as we are different as grown-ups. Challenges because, first of all, as a parent, you want the best for your child, but you also don't want to give them too much of the best.
Yeah.
That they don't know how to work for something. So teaching your child how to work for it, teaching your child how to earn it, teaching your child the value of things, the value of the things that are intangible versus the things that are tangible. It
is hard.
It is not easy. And here's the thing, we're all given a blank slate in our children. Our children are not born bad or good.
Yeah.
All right? Yes, there are some children who are born with,
some challenges
physically or mentally. But as human beings, we are innately good. And things happen along the line that change us for the better or for the worse. Yeah. I think the role of the parent is to, hold the hand of the child and walk with the child through life. It's not protecting the child from every single challenge. Yes, we have to protect them from certain things fully and completely. But there are some things that we have to let our children go through.
Yeah.
So that, it's like the butterfly. If you help it out of the cocoon, it will die.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to let them struggle a little bit for them to value the things that they have and the things that they learn and the relationships that they have later in life. So it's a real, juggling affair.
Yeah. They don't come with manuals.
Nope, they do not. I wish they did.
Yeah. They're like, yours is like this, so expect this and this and that.
Yeah.
What's the best advice someone has ever given you?
Well, I told you the first one. Get out of your glass capsule. Otherwise, you're never going to do anything with your life. Be true to yourself. Let me tell you, that sounds so cliche. It sounds so cliche. Even when I heard it, I rolled my eyes. I was like, what the hell are you telling me? You don't know what I'm going through. Just get out of just go. Until I realized that it's not cliche. This life there's so many expectations of us.
Yeah.
And as a woman, let me tell you, you're expected to look a certain way. You're expected to be a certain way. You're expected to accept certain things. so many expectations.
It's just so many
expectations. But what is actually true to you of all those things that people expect us to be? What is true to you? One thing I tell people is I do not date married men, and I will not date a married man. I will not do it. Okay? So I'll tell you something personal. That happened to me. Okay? I was in a long-term relationship, and somebody walked in, and pretty much that died. Right? So I know how it feels. Yeah. So I'm not going to look at your man and think, ooh, there's room for me there. No. It's funny that women do that to each other because, I mean, how do you throw a stone and you're in a glass house? Because you're going to get the Range Rover and you're going to get the man and you're going to get this and you're going to get that. There's always going to be someone who can do it better than you. Yeah. Someone who's prettier than you.
There's always, women are beautiful outside
there's
here.
Always going to be somebody who's younger than you, who's prettier than you, who's got more of everything than you. So don't play that game. Yeah. You're shooting yourself in the foot. And then also for us, there's a thing called age. Yeah. So if you lose your morals rather not lose your morals, if you're loose with your morals, and you enjoy your life, you're like, yeah, this is me having a fantastic time, doing great things, and let me tell you, life normally comes and just gives you a slap. And it's only one slap. It's not 5. It humbles you. So preempt that slap. Which is not to say that life will not slap you. But just be true to yourself. Be true to the things that you believe in. Be true to the things that are good. I'm not going to say true to the things that are right, because right is relative. Yeah. Be true to the things that are good. You want a good life, do good things. One fight I have, a lot of people will love me, a lot of people will hate me, but I'll always tell you the truth. And the truth, many times, is something that people don't want to hear.
People don't like it. People don't like the raw truth.
No, they don't. I've gotten like it's an attack. So much trouble in my life because of people who don't want to tell the truth, and because of their not wanting to tell the truth, they will discredit you. They will say things about you. They will do so many things. I've been there, done that. Shot the video, got the T-shirt.
The video got.
Yeah. Being true to yourself is being able to look yourself in the mirror and say, Helen, I messed up. I messed up because I did something wrong to Boyo. I messed up because I could have apologized to Boyo. I could have told Boyo the truth. I could have. It's being able to evaluate yourself when you're alone in a room and being brutally honest with yourself. And once you can be brutally honest with yourself, when you walk out of that room, even though you never tell anybody what happened in that room, you will always be a better person. So I know that sounds very sanctimonious. I am not perfect. Yeah. So let's not, because I've said all those things, it means I'm so wonderful. No.
Let no one put you in that bracket.
I have my good days and my bad days. Just like every one of us does.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, well said. I hope Miss Kia. What would you want to accomplish as an actor? Or have you accomplished it?
I'm not going to put my dreams in front of your camera.
Oh.
I will not do that because we know what happens. Yeah, I come and tell the world my dreams and the world comes and tramples upon them. And that is the nature of the world we live in. There are many things I want to achieve as an actor. And by the grace of God, I will answer your question in action.
Oh. Time will tell.
Time will tell.
We'll be here.
Yes.
For years, when actors, upcoming actors, wanted to start acting, they will either go to National Theatre as a plug-in or now the Phoenix Theatre. Phoenix is no longer there. National Theatre, I think nowadays it doesn't serve the same purpose that it used to be. So how can these young guys who want to join acting start their careers? Or where can they start?
I think you need to be online a lot. You need to look at where auditions are happening. But you also need to, there are so many, even for us, let's say, I don't want to use the word seasoned because then it would look like it's easy for me. It's not. Even I still have to go to auditions. I still have to ask, is what's going on? Is there something somewhere? I still have to do that.
Yeah.
Globally, being in acting is not an easy thing. Guys move to LA to wait tables for 5 years before you even get a role as an extra or whatever. So there are a lot of things that we can change in our industry, but what I can say is just keep your eyes open. Go online, look at where things are happening, follow the people who, ask questions. Go, if you see Boyo has interviewed 5 different actors that you've seen on TV. Talk to Boyo, right? Ask Boyo, listen, where can I do this? Where can I do that? But also keep your ear to the ground. You've got to talk to the right people. It is still, as much as we talk about being online, it's still a very much one-on-one business, this one of ours. Talk to people. Keep your ear on the ground. Look out. Ask what's happening. Don't put yourself in a shell. When people ask me, they inbox me a lot and they say, listen, I want to be an actor. Can you help me? No, I can't. Not because I don't want to. If it was in my hands like this, I would employ everybody.
Yeah.
If it was in another actor's hands, they would do the same thing, simply so that they don't have to go through the same things we went through. When I auditioned for Selina, I walked in there, I was given a paper that said you are number 174.
Well, okay.
Yeah. Maybe now it might be a little easier for me because people have seen me, or maybe not. But either way, you still have to do the work. You still have to do the work. I think KNT still has stuff on their notice board, if I'm not wrong, outside there, on the left as you're walking in. But just it's good to find who the casting directors are in the industry. It's good to know them. I don't want to say their names right now because I'm not sure how that will turn out. but get to know who's in the industry. When you're watching your favorite show, watch the credits. Say, this is Boyo's show, Boyo. Then you go online and see, where's Boyo? Can I follow her? Inbox. As in you've got to take the initiative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we go wrong as Kenyans supporting local content? As Kenyan audience.
Okay, first of all, I saw someone saying the other day how Kenyans are bad actors. We need to be more like other actors in other countries. And here's the thing. One, maybe talk about something that you know a bit more about, right? It's very easy for our audience to criticize us and not know what our challenges are. That's one. Secondly, this is an industry that is growing. All right. You saw the other day there was a guy who made a car in Nanyuki, I think. He's not going to make a Rolls Royce. He's just starting out.
Yeah.
So as Kenyans, we need to, first of all, I'm not saying we need to be a bit lenient on ourselves. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we need to be constructive with the criticism that we give each other or ourselves.
Yeah.
We are still growing. I mean, from the time we started till now, come on. The industry has grown. The industry has grown. This year. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. So let's first of all acknowledge the good things. All right. Let's say, you know what? Pat ourselves on the back. We've done a good thing. Where is it that we need to improve? Instead of us throwing stones at each other and saying this and saying that and saying the other, let's try as producers and actors and directors and people who are in the crew. Let's all try to be better. You can do online classes nowadays. They don't cost that much. You can
just YouTube has
a lot of material.
Yeah.
But when people in the audience say, me, I prefer, look,
we are not
you have to compare apples and apples. Right now, there is apples and oranges. So if you're going to compare oranges, please compare with other oranges. All right? We are still coming up. We obviously want the support of our fellow countrymen.
Yes.
And our fellow Africans, How have we supported Nollywood? We've watched their shows until now they're creating content that is,
up to par.
That is quite different from when we started watching Nollywood 10, 15 years ago.
Yes.
Bollywood, same thing. Let's support each other. Let's grow the industry. Let's not politicize something that, once we put politics in there,
it dies. It
goes south. It goes in the wrong direction. Let's go forward. Let's grow this thing because we all stand to benefit from it, both the audience and the people who are in the industry. Yeah.
What has this industry taught you? Positive, negative? What have you learned from the industry?
Patience. Patience with myself and with others. I don't think I'm fully learned the lesson yet. I'm still learning. I think patience is both negative and positive. Me, I'm very impatient, just by nature. I'm like, just get it done. Even to myself. Like, I'm the one who's doing the thing and I'm like, just get it done, So, because I'm impatient, I've learned to slow down a little bit. One thing I'll tell you about me is I am very... and I'm going to ask for no judgment, but I'm very... when I can see something is obvious to me, I don't understand how you're not seeing it. Right? And a lot of people have the same problem I do. Whether they admit it or not is a whole other story. So there are many ways to skin a cat. All right? And sometimes I can think my way is the only way. Yeah, and again, it just goes back to the thing I told you about being more experienced, having learned the hard way. So when you learn something and you've broken your back doing it, the next thing is it's become so much part of you that sometimes you can overlook the back breaking experience another person is having. Sometimes. So you have to call, because of my impatience, so I have to call myself back and say, oh, okay, I remember that back-breaking thing that I also went through, so let me give Boyo some time. So I have to call myself out, and that's the thing I was telling you. It's just about recognizing your weaknesses and being able to recognize that other people have weaknesses too. So that's something I've learned being in the industry, having... looking at myself and saying, okay, wow, that was just a hot mess. And acknowledging that the other person may or may not go through the same process that I'm going through. Right.
Lastly, what is next for you?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I have a few things lined up. And like I said, let me not put them out there at the moment because things tend to go south when the whole world knows about them. So let's give it a few months, and I'm sure
we'll see it materialize.
I'm sure we can talk about it then. But right now, I can't really get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you guys for watching the episode. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next week.